Aya. It's been a pretty big month for DC recently. Justice League came out, but more importantly, the DC TV shows had the big bad crossover of the year, Crisis on Earth X. And this is my review. As the only person I know that has managed to watch all 4 DC TV shows in entirety, this was pretty rewarding for me, especially since that this year, for the first time, they took advantage of all 4 TV shows. I got to see all the characters from each show, especially Supergirl, finally come together and interact. And that was a really big thing I wanted. I wanted the characters from Supergirl to finally come over, and it really upset me that Wynn didn't come over, but we got Earth X Wynn, so I'll forgive them on that. But this TV show wasn't just rewarding for people who have seen all 4 shows. What I really liked that it didn't count on the knowledge of just one TV show like last year. You needed pretty heavy knowledge on Arrow to be able to understand what was fully going on, but this year it was just fully a big team TV show. It wasn't one particular show taking the lead. It was just Crisis and Earth X, and to show that, they actually made the titles. Although in the title sequences only showed Supergirl, Flash and Arrow. Where was my legends? I really liked, especially in the beginning, how they showed each TV show and how they got to the West Island wedding and the lead up before the crisis. I loved all the character interactions because that's what this whole crossover was really about, seeing all the heroes come together and just have a good old time. I love seeing Oliver and Barry and Kara and Barry. Especially I've got to see some new relationships formed in this crossover, especially Alex and Sarah, which I've been rooting for since the beginning of time. I know, so happy with that. And I do feel like those two would be perfect together if, you know, Sarah wasn't time traveling and Alex didn't live on a different Earth. But, you know, some small problems. I also really liked the new dynamic all the heroes had with the Earth X snark. Overall in the crossover, I liked the story. But my only question is, did it have to be Nazis? Were Nazis really relevant? I feel like you could have just changed it to being, oh, these are bad guys, they are the bad version of the heroes, and it would have worked just as well. They didn't really need to have bloody Nazis running around. I feel like the only reason they had Nazis was because the DC TV show writers wanted to try and be topical because, haha, Nazis are back. If you're gonna write about Nazis and have them be your main villain, maybe be a bit more sensitive about it and don't try to humanize Nazis, or maybe don't put the faces of heroes we love so much as Nazis, because that might upset a few people. Could have also been a little reference to Marvel with their Hydra Nazi thing and turning like iconic heroes into Hydra, but you know, maybe not. This crossover brought a very strange ship to my attention. Now I'm gonna be honest with you, I ship Kara Danvers with everyone she talks to, especially, you know, Lena Luthor, but this crossover brought a really disgusting, random, what the heck did I just witness ship. The evil Nazi version of Kara Danvers and Oliver Queen. I had never even considered Super Arrow as a thing ever, and I wish I never had to think about that or witness what I did. I just feel betrayed as an Felicity shipper and as a Super Flash shipper, as like a fan of DC TV. Please never do that again. Just no. Speaking of our evil heroes, aka Nazis, I still don't understand. Why was Reverse Flash there? Thorne isn't a good guy, you know? He murdered Barry's mother. Never thought he would align himself with Nazis. Clearly, he just hates Barry that much. And what I also don't understand is, why was he in the face of Harrison Wells if everyone knows that he's Thorne now? It doesn't make sense. Also, which part of the timeline is this Reverse Flash from? Trying to work out DC TV and timelines and just time travel, just, it hurts my brain. None of it makes sense. As much as Crisis on Earth X made me laugh, it was so emotional, especially the last one on Legends of Tomorrow. Seeing Gray be shot and seeing him beg Jefferson to give him the cure so he can just die was just so upsetting, especially because I had no idea that Martin would die. I legitimately thought he was gonna get his happy ending. He'd go to his family, he'd probably come back in the future future for some cameos, because this is a superhero show. No one ever dies, but he did, and I'm really glad that they didn't just kill him off in an episode of Legend of Tomorrow. It would have been like, alright, he's dead, let's get back to it. But because it was left for the crossover for the big battle, it was so much more impactful, because it just reminds you that these fights that the heroes do have consequences, and people can get hurt in them. Even our favourite long-term heroes, Firestorm. The thing that made it really upsetting for me was more Jefferson's reaction to seeing Grey die, because Grey's old, you know, he's had plenty of life, but Jefferson finally got a father figure. He got his family, and he had to make that choice to let Martin die. The thing that makes it even sadder is in the latest episodes of Legend of Tomorrow, Jefferson told Martin what day he dies. So this means that Stein has always known that he would die on this day, and he went into that battle knowing that he is going to die. He's gonna leave his daughter and his wife, but he still went in because he knew if he didn't, Jefferson might get hurt, or other legends might get hurt. I really appreciate they actually had a funeral for him, because a lot of times in TV shows, especially superhero shows, the deaths are just sort of skipped over. Let's move on now, but they had a little funeral, said goodbye, then had a wedding straight after. That's how I end all my funerals. I just have impromptu weddings where Stellan's having their moment. They're like, yeah, I love you so much, Barry, I love you, Iris. And Oliver and Felicity are like, excuse me, we're gonna outdo you now real quick. Let's get married, boo. I love Oliver and Felicity. Those two are one of my favourite ships of DC, and they are my favourite part of Arrow, and the reason that I still watch it. Now the question that everyone's been asking, the question that you're here to know, was Crisis on Earth X better than Justice League? Was this CW 4-part crossover better than a big blockbuster? Yes it was. Can someone in charge of the DCEU take note on how to do a proper big team up? I will give the DCEU a bit of slack. The Arrowverse has had more time to build up their characters, more development. The audience has had more time to form a connection and a relationship with these characters. We got to know all the different characters and heroes separately first. That's what you should have done. You need to do solo stories first, so we know the characters and we care about the characters. And no, Batman vs Superman Dawn of Justice does not count as a solo movie. BVS was meant to hype up Justice League, but instead it just took all the hype for Justice League and left Justice League out in the cold, crying, asking for someone to pay attention to it. The Arrowverse has just been done better than the DCEU. Overall, Crisis on Earth X was really freaking good, and I really hope that this is a start of more interaction with the Supergirl Earth and Earth 1, because I really like Barry and Kara's friendship, and I want to see more of Win and Barry, and more Kara and Oliver, not in a creepy way, you friggin' freaks. No, that friendship, bro. Thank you for watching. Click there to subscribe and click there for another video. What did you think of Crisis on Earth X? Did you like it more than the last crossover? Did you think it was better than Justice League? I feel like most people probably did. Bye!